Awesome. How are you today?
I am good, Maj. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I wanted to take a moment and pick your brain and ask some questions about CMMI.
Awesome. Let's get started.
Okay. So, one question I have that seems to be a consistent question is which CMMI level do you choose?
A very great question, and the answer is not straightforward sometimes. So that would depend on a number of things. If the organization has systems are mature, they have been having very robust, whether they're whichever constellation you're choosing, processes are defined, you're being compliant or certified to some ISO standards and have built your practices, then definitely you can select level 3. But if you're starting off and have processes here and there and no ISO, I want to recommend that it would be better that you select level 2 and then build yourself up to the level 3.
That makes sense. Is there anything that we'd be missing if we waited for level 2 before we got to level 3?
So, no, you would not be missing, but not having defined at a project, not having it, the processes defined consistently, not having processes which are robust enough, which allow you to proactively implement things is not going to be beneficial. So hence we recommend take the approach of going from level 2 to level 3. But with that said, I have also seen organization going directly to level 3 because it's not always necessary that you need an ISO in place. So organizations still have defined a lot of processes, organizational set processes, which they have adopted for tailored to the projects. And when you have that kind of consistency, you definitely can go to the level 3.
Okay.
No problem.
That makes sense. Okay. And then is CMMI going to be applicable to the entire organization or only projects?
We get this question asked a lot many times. And the short answer is regardless of what you choose, it is always going to be the organization because even in level 3, the organizational set processes are tailored to the project, meaning you have these processes in place which are already robust, which are already being proactively managed, which are very well defined in depth, right? So it is assumed that you already have these interrelated processes which are mature and then they are being used for the project. So you will need to have it at the organizational level. Now, the difference is that level 2, projects can have processes that are a little different than the organization, and that's acceptable. But for level 3, you want to have a consistency there. That's why you use the already defined baseline processes, which are mature, which are managed to build it for the project.
Okay. Do you know how often we need appraisals?
So appraisals you need to go through every 3 years.
Okay.
So let's say in 2023, you go through an appraisal this year, then the next appraisal you will have to go through is 2026.
Okay.
And nothing in between. But that needless to say, you have to manage and make sure that you are auditing your processes each year and manage it properly so that you do not run into a very big variance when you come to the reappraisal stage.
Okay. And what does that process even look like for the appraisal?
So appraisal process is generally there are two components. One is called readiness review. So a readiness review is the lead appraiser and ATM team will verify if you have the correct processes, you have defined it, your OE, which is organizational evidence workbook, it's all consistent and you're prepared. They check the level of preparedness. And a month out or 45 days out, you will go through an appraisal, which will be, and think of this as a third party independent body who's reviewing your processes and doing some evidence checking and getting validation from the process owners, asking the process owners how they did what they did and what was the process they followed and what was the output. So they are checking what was the input, what was the output. and to verify the consistency. So the process is quite similar in terms to your 9001 or 27000, one of those compliance standards. But the difference is the duration, because CMMI, based on which level we are thinking, level 2 or level 3. Level 2 is a 4-day event and level 3 is a 5-day. Again, multi-models are different. So it is a very extensive verification and going into many more processes. But the experience is quite similar to any ISO compliance where a verbal affirmation is required.
Okay. So the consulting is really just the biggest preparation part for the appraisal?
Yes, because you want to be prepared with the right objective evidence, as well as you want to be prepared with the right responses and make sure that everybody is going to bring their best when they are speaking to their particular process. And there can be, you need to have that ownership identified from the get-go, as well as you want to make sure that how to enable the process owners to which evidence to show to meet that particular requirement, because CMMI allows for the particular process area, practice area allows you to showcase many evidences, but what will be the exact correct one?
Okay.
And if you do not know, you'll show many evidences, but not the right one. It takes that consulting, it takes the time to get it implementation where your, evidence workbook is prepared, where you're getting prepared, that hand holding before you're ready for the appraisal.
That breaks down perfectly. Okay. Well, I feel as though you've definitely answered my questions. I have a better insight of which CMMI. Now, could there ever be a case where maybe I don't qualify for a level that I might be trying to pursue?
Yes, if that happens, Miaj, because sometimes organizations are not prepared. Sometimes it could be the consulting help they have got or not completely secured that help and are not aware. And these, like CMMI standard, it's going to change next year, and the cutoff date is June 1st when the version is going to upgrade from level 2.2 to 3.0. So in those instances when you're going and you're not aware and you prepare based on 3 years previous data where you would have gone through it and you think, okay, I can get through it, and you don't know, and there are so many changes, those events can happen where certain organizational practices are more weaker and you're not being approved to go through and appraisal you're showing as a major weakness. So that can happen. So recommendation is always take some support and try and understand, because you're going through appraisal only every 3 years and a lot changes during that time frame.
Okay. That's a good insight. I do hear this often that I don't think people are aware that could be, but getting it done the right way with the
Correct.
correct company that can handle the consulting can lead you to the victory of the appraisal.
Absolutely. And I completely understand it's very pricey. Whether you get, consulting support from here or from other part of the world, it's still pricey. There may be some couple $100,000 here or there changes, but still. So it is one of those, I think this selection, the qualification which organizations should select their consulting partners or appraisal partners, there should be more rigor around those selections so they can be, set up for success. Not just right now, maybe even for next 3 years, so that they can, pursue their targets and, without any kind of setbacks.
Setbacks could cause a lot of issues, future aspect of things. So,
Absolutely, and not just in organization. It is also, because it's a team effort in CMMI, and it can be morally everybody's impact. Everybody will be feeling okay. They put so much great effort, and still we are not succeeding. So, employee retention becomes an issue because of this.
okay, I see. And that's obviously, and that could be a big issue for individuals,
Correct.
organization wise. So, okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Do you feel as though there may be any notes or key things that we should know about CMMI when taking the first steps of looking into it?
Absolutely. My recommendation to any organization is, if you need something a year from now or even a year and a half from now, start now. Now is the time. You don't really want to wait for a year and a half to come, and because business priorities keep on changing, and every business person understands this. CMMI and ISO, everything is about growth. This allows your business to grow. So if you are in business, you would want to prioritize growth.
Yeah.
It's not, compliance is all about growth. So it is important, and it requires a huge amount of commitment. And I understand that. And that is sometimes some things organizations have to think it through, make sure everybody's prepared, their management is committed. So start now, don't wait, because you're asking growth to wait.
Yeah, we don't want growth waiting.
No.
Okay, awesome. Well, this has been massively informative, and I definitely thank you for your time.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.